Season 1 was about transformation, realizing you can love your life and break free from stories that held you back. Now, in Season 2, we're stepping in a new frequency. What transformation looks like in real life. The messy middle. The real, raw conversations. If you're ready to live your truth, let's talk. My name is Jessica, and I help you transform your life inside out in 90 days to a life you absolutely love. This is Jessica Javens Talk, and this podcast is about helping people to really come out of their shell and make them into a better life, a better business. Talking about business, we're talking about branding today. There's so much to learn about that. I woke up so excited today because no matter how much I learned, like there's so much more. And a lot of it is just details that you just don't think about. So I brought today a very special guest, a mentor of mine that I'm only here because of her as well, okay? This is the production that is behind the scenes, my mentor, the person who's been helping me from here all the way to Florida. We're in Indianapolis, by the way, all the way to Florida. And this is somebody that I want you to make sure that you listen until the end and share this with everybody, because everybody needs to learn this and apply to their business if they want to be successful. Yolanda M. Smith, welcome to Jessica Javens Talk. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jessica. It's exciting to be here. And oh my God, I can't believe you're already in season 2. And it's just been amazing. I love what you're doing with the podcast. And I love how you're really empowering people. This is good stuff. Good stuff.
Absolutely. And so many people don't know where to go or how to do it. And you are the founder of Branding for Success. You wrote 3 different books. And these books are absolutely fantastic. I'm going to tell you what they are in just a little bit. And let's start with just your name, because this is a very easy one to get you started on this episode. Tell me why it's important for somebody, maybe you or anybody else, to use your middle initial M on your branding, Yolanda M. Smith.
Well, that's a good question. Thank you. You know what? It's one of those things that when you think about branding, it's like that becomes your identifier. How do you want to identify yourself to the public, right? There are a lot of Yolanda Smiths. You know, as a matter of fact, there's still a handful of Yolanda M. Smiths. But the reality is that if I can take from a 30,000 foot level and bring it down maybe to a 5,000 foot level, then I just made myself that much more discoverable. You know, so instead of you trolling through every Yolanda Smith, now you just got to go through the Yolanda M's, right? And so it became signature. So no matter what I do, how I sign my name, where I speak, anything that I do, Yolanda M. Smith. If they say Yolanda Smith, I correct them. It's Yolanda M. Smith. And people don't understand that. Some may think, oh my God, she's just being a little difficult, right? But it's the brand. You're building the brand identity.
I love that. And off the bat, you can start already giving them hints and tips, right? Because probably that person who doesn't get it is probably because they haven't learned that.
That's right.
Now, I love also the fact that you chose something very easy to remember, but impactful and straight to the point. Branding for success. So tell me how that you came about that name for your business.
So it's kind of interesting because we can overthink a lot of things, right? And one of the things that I have learned from the branding world, and I've been doing this since 2013, but one of the things I learned is oftentimes we overcomplicate, and then we create names for our businesses that people have no idea what we do. And so the more you can simplify it for the person that you're trying to attract, the better you have an opportunity to connect with that person. And so if somebody's looking for branding, then you have it in your name. If that's what you do, you have it in your name. So a lot of people, and I like using my name, but it's Yolanda M. Smith, Branding for Success. Branding for Success. And I use the number 4, right? So it just becomes significant enough that you change it, you give it your own identity. That's how I did that with the 4. But someone will absolutely know what it is that I'm doing. I'm helping people to brand for success, whatever that is for them.
I love it. And you know, it's funny because my background, I came from corporate.
So being in corporate, I have to be somebody else's brand, somebody else's dream. So I have to become that person for them. So for me to come out of my shell in that way, or that long-term training, which you can identify too, because you worked in corporate.
Oh yeah, 30 something years.
There you go. And for you to come out of that and understand that you have to also be yourself and bring that out and know yourself that much to bring that out, which is one thing that she's been helping me tremendously. It's not easy. I had to kind of like change a pattern in my mind, practice.
Yes.
And one word we were just talking about that we're going to go in deeper is pivoting. So this season, we're actually going deeper, bolder, and more intimate. And that's what we're trying to do here with you right now on this topic.
Nice.
So tell me, Yolanda, about pivoting. What is your take of it, and how important is that, especially when you're your boss and you are the person who is in control of your dream? You're not doing somebody else's dream, you're doing your own. How do you take ownership and how do you pivot?
Ooh, that's one of those things that I think you learn it. You know you should do it. And I came from the pharmaceutical industry.
Wow.
And so I think for me, it probably becomes a little easier than for others, only because one of the things that you learn in pharmaceuticals when you're developing drugs is that you fail fast, because you don't want to spend millions and millions of dollars downstream to find out it doesn't work.
Oh my.
You want to fail fast. And I tell people that all the time. When you're thinking about what you're doing, when you're going out here and you've got strategies that you want to implement and execute on, and they are not working, you might have to pivot quickly, right? And the pivot is powerful, because it's not that you abandon the goal. This is where people get confused. It's not abandoning the goal. It's abandoning how you get to the goal. And so what happens is we get so married to things. That's our baby. This is our,
Yes.
We take such deep ownership that we find often we are sinking money into things that are not going to work. We are sinking time, resources into things that are not going to work, and we refuse to let it go.
That is so powerful. And that was a key for me too, because typically you think about just abandoning the whole thing, but it wasn't that original goal or that original, it's how you did it. You just have to analyze that and just strategize and pivot.
Yeah. It's like you think about going down the road, and then you come to the fork, right? If you have the fork in the road, it says you can go left or you can go right? The road is not always straight. And so you may go left only to realize that you should have went right. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep going left, just putting your head down and plowing through, hoping that at some point it works? Or are you going to just take a step back? Because sometimes we gotta step back to reset just to move forward, right?
Absolutely.
And so when people think about it that way, they get so distraught, because it's like, this should have worked. It should have been this. It may should have. On paper, it looked good, but in reality, it's not that way. And it's not that way because we're in an ever-changing dynamic.
That's a very important
place.
Thing to realize. Absolutely.
So what gets you to one level will not get you to the next. Yeah, that's that. Catch that one.
I love that. But let me tell you one thing that I see a lot of people getting confused, and I get confused sometimes. When do you know that you should be pushing and continuing, not giving up? Mm-hmm. And when do you know that you should stop and reevaluate or pivot?
So I think part of it is, this is what happens. We live in an instantaneous society. Everybody wants instant results. And so I work with a lot of coaches and entrepreneurs. I know. So you create a plan, they start to execute the plan, and they don't get immediate return on their investments, right? They don't understand that anything you do, yes, you've got that one person that'll go viral, or that one hit wonder that makes a sensation out of things. Mm-hmm. But for the masses, it requires a level of consistency. So what happens is you have to ask yourself, when you go to assess, do I push on the gas or do I back forward? Have you really done everything that you were to do to get the result that you desired? 9 times out of 10, that becomes a negative. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Really?
So people say, oh, well, yeah. Okay. So let's just take, for example, I work with a lot of people. Social media is powerful. They need to be on social media.
Yeah.
Are you posting? Well, yeah, I am. Okay. How often are you posting? Well, 3 times a week. Well, maybe you need to do it every day. Then it all of a sudden, well, I haven't posted in the last month, but you expect results. And so sometimes we come out here and we don't recognize the power in building connections and building relationships and having that level of consistency. And so a lot of times they're not getting the result. They need to keep going because they haven't done what they need to do. Now, on the flip side, if you've done the things that you know or you thought that you needed to do to get you there and it didn't work, you got to ask yourself, am I going to just dig in deeper? So if I'm running an ad and I'm putting money behind this ad and I give this ad a reasonable amount of time and I've got no return, I just turned one off. Just this is a true story. I ran it for 2 weeks and got 0 out of it.
Wow.
And you, can you imagine? So do I keep going down the path of sinking money into it, or do I pull that thing?
That's
and
a
say,
very practical, good example.
yes,
Thank you.
or what do you say? Do you pull it back? You know.
Right.
So the pivot is about always having a contingency plan, so that when A doesn't work, you can start to execute on B, but not before you assess why you believe A did not work.
Wow, that's enlightening right there. Why did not work? Because a lot of entrepreneurs are kind of trying to figure this out on their own.
Yeah.
At the same time, you're going to take possibly, very likely, longer to get where you need to do, where you need to get if you're doing it alone.
It becomes trial and error.
Right. And that's where I do believe immensely the power of having a coach or having a mentor. And it's almost like you going up the mountain by yourself for the first time and trying to figure out how you're going to get to the top. And then instead of that, you actually have a guide who's done it many times and goes with you. The difference is like huge.
You want to go further, faster, or you want to just figure it out along the way and
there you
waste
go.
resources and make mistakes that they've already made so you wouldn't have had to make them. Right?
That's huge because
Yeah.
you're thinking like, oh, I can't afford a mentor or a coach. Hold on. Can you afford to spend how many years losing money, like this small example that you gave of an ad, you know? So the person doesn't understand. And that's where I think success is to have this understanding. That's why we're doing this episode today.
Yes.
Tell me about that story that you were about to tell me before we got on air that I want you to share. It's about something that you created a boom.
Okay, you know what? I forgot that fast. Okay, I was going to tell you something that bombed, didn't I? What did I say? Do you remember? Did I give
It
you?
was a situation that we were talking about pivoting and that you had to adapt. We were talking about another person who was put in stage without her knowledge and she just had to pivot and give that presentation to a whole bunch of famous people.
Oh, yeah. So one of the things about the pivot, what we were talking about, so really what this is about is really being ready, right? So if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So what happened to me is that I was working with a guy, and a lot of people may have heard of Grant Cardone. I was working with some of his programs. And one of the programs, they did a pitch contest. Okay. And I thought, okay, this would be a good opportunity to get in front of some people, be able to pitch what I do, that thing. So they said, you have 5 minutes to really give your pitch. So you had a day to prepare for it. You had to submit a video. So once I submitted the video and I realized I had been selected,
Awesome.
then literally I had a day to be able to get this together. I prepared down to the T for this 5-minute pitch.
Okay.
Now, I'm still fairly young in the game at this point, you guys. I have the corporate background. Hey, I had done public speaking, but you know what? We all have to learn. Day comes right before we get ready to start the pitch contest. They say, okay, it's down. You got 2 minutes.
Oh,
I was like, I panicked.
oh my
panicked.
gosh.
And when I tell you, when my turn came, I was such a bomb that Grant Cardone said to me, I'm so disappointed. I expected so much more from you. I couldn't get the words out right. I couldn't say what I did. I was it was a hot mess, but what a key lesson.
Wow.
Never again, right? Never again. I went back couple years later, and one of his programs was stages. We did the stages was one of the programs, and I won that pitch contest. But I had to redeem myself,
of
right?
course.
I had to redeem myself, but that was such a frightening moment in my career where I realized that, you guys, if you know who you are, you know what you do, you know the value you deliver to other people, you should be able to say it, whether it's 30 seconds, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, right? You should be able to give that to the people.
I learned that also early on. And I went to actually a workshop, and with this person who was on season 1 with me. She is absolutely fantastic. She's a comedian.
Oh, nice.
She's what's the name? It starts with P. I'll remember in a second. And her name is Joe Pavlov. And she teaches people to actually be completely comfortable doing exactly that. Yeah. And she uses these techniques,
kind of like improv. Improv. Yeah,
it has a P in it.
Yeah.
She is an improv
coach
pro, and she's been doing it for so long that now she's using this for entrepreneurs, and the methods that she uses and all of that changed everything for me. And I did that early on, and I'm so grateful for her because of those little things that you realize some people don't. They've been an entrepreneur for years now, and they still
right.
don't get that.
Oh, I cannot tell you how many people, when I meet them, I'll say, tell me about yourself. What do you do? You know, that sort of thing. And they can't even get it out. They'll start stuttering. And these are entrepreneurs. They'll start out, I'm a wife, I'm a mom. And I'm thinking, we're in a business setting.
You lost me.
Yeah, who cares? I mean, because, and I don't mean that to be facetious or mean. I'm just being honest with you. When people meet you and they ask you who they are, what they're really trying to figure out is what's in it for me.
Right.
Do they have something, a value that I could utilize, right?
Yeah.
Can they add some value to my life, to my space? Let's just be honest. That's what it's about.
That clarity is so important. Yeah. Now, because you've been working with so many entrepreneurs and you've been mentoring them, what would you say? I know this is probably one of them, but let's think a little bit further or deeper even. What are some of the struggles that are common to entrepreneurs right now? Maybe some that are even embarrassing, like that you feel that is something that you are always and constantly having to help the new clients that you have with you.
Believe it or not, the number one is belief in self. The belief in self, the mindset. It's amazing how many talented people I meet. And even in my corporate career, working in the pharmaceutical industry and working with just brilliant scientists and things like that, the imposter syndrome, just not really believing that the expertise, the value, the talents that they have are really theirs, and that somebody's going to discover that it's not real, like it's going to blow up on them or something. I think it starts there, just really belief in self, because what I teach people to do is we start there to get that clarity and that belief, understanding the value you deliver, and then how are you able to then create the offers to help people get the results that they desire. I try not to use the transformation word; it's so overused, but how do we get them to that place? So essentially move you away from your pain, right? And
yes.
Get you to that better state. How do you do that? And then how are you able to charge for your value, not your time? We have such a mentality that everything's driven to time. So if I tell somebody what my hourly rate is, they freak out. I got to pay that, or I'm coming in to do workshops, right? And for me to just do a standard, workshop up to 2 hours, and I haven't changed my rates in years, so I'm already lowballing. We already know, but it's $5,000, right? And to get me in. And some people go, but it's only an hour. I said, it's not only, you're paying for my value, not my time.
And how many years do you have?
And the years of cultivating
that you're bringing into that 1 hour.
And consistently out there in a cluttered market, distilling the complex so that you can get the results you desire without having to go through all that and trying to figure out what's real and what's not. Right.
But you said it exactly the way that people are like, oh, right. So now I get the value because you were able to clearly communicate that to me because you know your value and you have it clear in your mind. So that way you can communicate that.
Yes.
How valuable is that? And that's where you're
Priceless.
probably, yeah, it's priceless. Thank you. It is priceless. Now, tell me a little bit about your books. They have absolutely amazing themes. What made you decide to write the first one, which is Reputation to Reward?
Yes, that was the first book because when I first started personal branding in 2013, it was really around me helping young girls. I was a chair for a nonprofit organization called Girl Talk, and I was helping them. But I didn't want to just be in the administrative fundraising role. I wanted to really engage with the girls. So I created a workshop. And when I started the research, that's how I stumbled upon personal branding. But the parents started coming to the workshop, and that's when I knew I was onto something, and I leveled it up to a professional level. That's how that happened,
Wow.
right? And so it was all just taking a path and not realizing, and I just loved it, and I became very passionate about it. So the book was born out of the fact that as I started talking about it, nobody knew what a personal brand is. They didn't get it. They didn't understand it. So that is the foundational book to help people understand what is a personal brand, why is it important, because we're not talking logos, we're not talking websites, we're not talking colors and business cards, right?
Thank you.
That is not your personal brand. That becomes your brand identity. But you've got to know who you are first and how you're going to articulate that value that you deliver to others very succinctly, right? Then the cards and all that is how you then become memorable. The Nike swoosh would be nothing if Nike didn't do something first, right?
Absolutely.
The Starbucks lady would, or whatever that thing is. What does that have to do with coffee anyway?
There's a story behind it. And I forgot, but I think it's a mermaid, isn't it?
It is something like that. Yeah. But when you see it, you know them, right?
Yeah.
The Amazon smile, right? You know those things, but they had to do something first before that. And that's why I tell people so often, your personal brand is what people will lean into before they can trust the company. They're going to lean into you. You're the trusted brand, the trusted face of your company before your company name becomes a name.
Absolutely.
And this is what that book did, is
I
to
love
just
it.
really take them through those
Everybody should
foundational
start with this.
steps.
And it's funny, I'm just looking and gazing over the topics, right? Looking in the mirror. You better tell your story. Who are you? And it's funny because some of these questions, a lot of people might have asked themselves, but the way that you put it in and the way that you reflect, it always helps them to build a block. So everybody should start with this first one. Absolutely. Tell me about the second one.
Become Unforgettable. So Become Unforgettable is the companion to Reputation to Reward.
Mm-hmm.
So you have the brand, you know how to articulate your brand signature or your $1 million minute, right? If somebody asks you who you are, what are you going to say, right? You get that. I teach that in the first book so that you can always just have something compelling to tell somebody. You do realize that, like, you got to catch people at hello, because we don't have great attention spans. And literally, our attention span right now is less than a goldfish. Goldfish may have 6-7 seconds. We're less than that.
Wow.
Our attention span is human. So
as an adult, it's not even a child.
You just got to be able to catch them like that, right? And so you understand that, but then that book gives you 7 key strategies to really help you to elevate that brand, right?
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I love that the book is something that is not those dreaded long things that you are going like, oh my gosh, I don't have time for this.
No, I ask you very thought-provoking questions. I give you 7 strategies. It doesn't take long to give you a strategy, you guys. Here's the deal. You get the strategy. Then I give you the thought-provoking questions to really think about. You dive into them. You write it in. So the companion is very much like a workbook, right? You dive into it. And then the Brandfluence, my latest best-selling book that I just launched last year. Yes, Brandfluence. This is all about how you show up on social media. So many people, and I was one of them, was terrified. I still am not a fan. Can I be honest with you? I'm not a fan. I think it requires work. We have tools now that make it a lot easier, with the AI, but also, your scheduling tools and things like this. But you guys, it's a must. We live in a digital environment. And so I give you the good, the bad, and the ugly in there and really help you, whether you're a beginner or you you want to monetize, I give you the strategies and the key tidbits. And here's the deal. We gotta use the book fast. I imagine 2 years from now, it's going to be obsolete.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll be obsolete.
You're gonna have to
that's
do the
how
newer edition,
right.
updated edition. It is crazy.
Yeah.
I even sometimes feel like, how am I going to do even get a bachelor's degree on something that has to do with media and marketing? It's like by the time you finish your course, it's all obsolete.
Yeah, that's not what you want to get your master's in. Just go get it in business, right? And then take your courses, because you're going to be a forever learner. That's lifelong learning.
Yes.
Definitely.
And that's why it's so important for you to know where to get this, where you're not signing up for a $50,000 degree maybe on something that is going to take you that long to learn something that's going to become obsolete, and then you have access to it just like that from experts, people who already did and are working on themselves as we speak. I'm being mentored and coached all the time.
Oh, I got coaches.
How can I help somebody if I'm not receiving that?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
I say a coach without a coach is a hypocrite.
Thank you.
I mean, because here's the reality. You need to be around people that are where you choose to be or have done what you are aspiring to do. That will save you time. But not only that, there's power in proximity, and success leaves clues. So I am a firm believer that it's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat.
I love that.
Right? Copy the right cat. Because there's nothing under the sun that hasn't already been done in so many ways. And so you just find the people that do it. You put your own unique spin and twist on it. And then the learning curve just got shortened. I am more willing to pay $10,000, $20,000 to get in some of these rooms so that my learning curve accelerates like that. I'm already now in the process of building my bot. I have a bot that's already being tested on my social media as we speak, but I couldn't have did that. I don't know anything about that. So it's really about you staying in your lane of genius, but finding your who. Who is your who, right? That's that expertise, that person that can do the things that elevate you to the next level while allowing you still to be authentically who you are.
There you go.
Yeah.
The perfect mix. I love that.
Yeah.
Yolanda, can you do a 30-second presentation of your business so we can see what it looks like?
A 30-second present. Well, I can tell you who I am, and I'll give you quick.
Okay.
So I am a people growth leader and branthropist with a passion to help coaches and entrepreneurs get and stay in business by unleashing the power of their personal brand. So through my formula, systems, and guidance, I help you to articulate your value, live authentically, and stand out so that you can have more influence, impact, and income. Branding for Success is my business where we do coaching and consulting with individual entrepreneurs as well as organizations and corporations so that we can help individuals really uniquely combine their brand with the business brand so that they can have better results, better performance, and achieve the things that they desire to achieve.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And you said it almost like you've never said it before. You made it look easy. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you never said it before because it came so natural and passionate. And at the same time, you know this.
Off the head. But the second part, I did that just verbatim, but just knowing the business and what we do. And the thing that's so beautiful about the branding, when you think about what you desire, that's up to you. Well, what's your success? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? Those things are not cookie cutter. That's subjective to the individual. But through branding, I know for a fact it can help you get there faster. Through coaching, investing in yourself, you can go further, quicker, right? Leveraging someone else's expertise to get you there.
Absolutely. And, I have a lot of people that are startups that I've met in my community and the different organizations that I'm part of. And a lot of people who are in corporate right now who wants what we have. And they want to achieve, but they don't know how, or they don't have the courage to do it because it sounds daunting. It's just so much to learn. And that's where you need to be in connection with people like this that can actually mentor you, that can coach you and accelerate your learning process and already set you to where you need to be from the beginning. So I definitely want people to be able to reach out to you. So share with us right now how they can also access this treasure, which is your services.
Absolutely.
Wherever they are.
Yes, I do coaching programs. I do one-on-one. I do organizational coaching, the whole nine. You can reach me on any Any social media outlet, Branding for Success. My website, Branding for Success. That's one of the things. You stay consistent across all platforms and people can find you. Yolanda M. Smith, Branding for Success.
I love it.
Yes.
And your books?
You can get them on Amazon, or you can go to the website Branding for Success and be able to purchase them there as well.
Thank you for making this sound so easy. That's because you're the expert. So she can help you make this easy, but much more if you go to her and also read her books. I am so happy that I've met you. And you know, Yolanda is also the co-host of Andre the Beast Creighton show. So it's because of her that I'm also here. So I am eternally grateful and very happy and privileged to be here. And you can also do your part again by just sharing this episode with the people that you know, because that way they can also be empowered and have access to important information that they need so they can start working on it right now. My name is Jessica, and this is Jessica Javens Talk. This show is brought by Andre the Beast Creighton and IamBeastNetwork.com, and brought by Forever Living. Forever Living is the aloe vera juice that changed my wellness, and my brother's new bar in Fort Lauderdale. Next time you go to Fort Lauderdale, we're having wine at my brother's bar.
Okay.
It's called Through the Vine. It is booming.
Oh my goodness. I
Okay,
can't wait.
so that's our
I'll
night.
let you know when
Yes,
I'm back. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And I'll see you on next episode. Thank you for watching. Click like, subscribe, and share.
Let's talk. This is Jessica Javens Talk.